How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I want to do something a little bit different. And I've seen Graham Stephan's reactions videos to CNBC Make It and their Millennial Money episode. Same thing with Meet Kevin. I want to do it myself, and we just got a new episode, and it came out just a few minutes ago. Let me know if you like this down in the comments below. And if you want some free stocks through WeBull, or you want to join our Patreon, or if you've never seen my main channel before, those links are down below. Thank you guys, and this is Millennial Money living on $58,000 a year in Dallas.
I think that teachers have had a bad rep in the United States, and especially working for public schools, in terms of like low salaries and other negative, bad conditions. But I think that it's totally possible to be a professional teacher and to live a comfortable life on a teacher's salary here in Texas. I'm Lonnie Huang. I'm 25 years old. I make $58,400 a year, and I live in Dallas, Texas. I'm a middle school math teacher. When I was working in Oklahoma, my starting salary was one of the lowest starting salaries for teachers in the nation. I actually participated in the Oklahoma teacher walkout. The starting salary back then, I believe, was like $32,400 or $900. And so moving to
So that is pretty low. I know teachers around here, where I am in Michigan, they start around $36,000 to $40,000, I want to say. Now, that is really low for someone that's college educated, but I think a lot of people do get done with their college career and realize that they're not going to make more than $16 an hour. I know that I started out in banking and I got paid $18 an hour, so kind of similar in that way, but $32,000 is really low.
It was definitely like a $10,000, $15,000 salary increase with the same amount of experience. So I'm very satisfied with my current salary. Growing up in Thailand and then coming to the States, there's a different standard of living, but there's also the expectation as like a second generation immigrant for me that I have to do better than my mom. And so there was that pressure of always like achieving, along with like the Asian culture of the high expectations of, being a doctor, a lawyer, a pharmacist. So I think that my mom, through all of her sayings and just growing up with her like frugal habits, definitely affected who I am as a person, because if I can do anything myself, I will learn how to do it myself. It's always been a dream of mine to own my own home. In Chicago, I definitely wouldn't be able to afford the houses there, but moving to Texas and seeing how affordable houses still are, especially with the salary that I'm making as a teacher here, I knew I had to jump on this opportunity.
$155,000 is awesome. I mean, that's a really good price for a home. Now, we don't have homes that low around me. We're looking around for something like what it looks like she probably has, maybe $200,000 or something. And that would be for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch. So yeah, that's a really good price, especially because Dallas is booming. And I would assume that if she has about $155,000 home, if she puts 20% down, she's probably looking at a $600, $700 payment without pulling up the calculator. So yeah, that's very affordable for her budget. Okay, so she put $10,000 down.
I didn't know about closing costs. So I knew about the down payment. I knew I had to have, a certain amount to put down. And I actually bought my home with the Teachers Next Door program. So the realtor contributes part of their commission to the closing costs, which was very, very helpful. So buying this house for myself, I think a lot of people are surprised, especially because they know I have a boyfriend. They're like, oh, did you guys like, buy it together? That's always like one of their first questions. I definitely was paying for a majority of things, and when he was able to, I started, charging for rent and utilities. And so over time, I've been increasing that amount, but
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I was curious how they're going to break this down, but the fact that they are splitting this, she's probably only paying $450 a month to the home, and that includes probably all her utilities and insurance and everything like that. They're probably splitting it 50-50, it looks like now. And she's also gaining equity. She's also getting appreciation. That is awesome. I mean, she's probably coming out about even on it, probably not paying much at all for housing right now with all those other things taken into account.
not quite half as of right now. I think that there was some tension over money during lockdown and because of the coronavirus quarantine, just because I felt like he was getting a little too comfortable. And so that's, where I drew the line of, I don't mind helping and paying for these things as long as you're not getting comfortable and starting to take advantage of it and starting to feel complacent, because it's important for me to make sure that the people around me are building better saving habits themselves and not just relying on one person.
Here comes the good stuff.
My insurance didn't cover that because this year I chose to have the cheapest insurance, not thinking that I was going to need to get my wisdom teeth removed. And so the bill was close to $2,000, and I had to pay for it upfront, all of it, the day of my appointment. So because of that mindset on strict saving habits, I guess, I was able to do that. My mindset towards saving is that everything that I'm putting into my savings, that's money I don't have anymore.
Okay, let's take a look at this. So they give her estimated monthly budget. They put in the wisdom teeth removal. I'm not sure why they would do that for $1,850. Obviously, that's a one-time expense. They put that down there, but I don't know why they would even include that on here because that's not a normal monthly expense. The housing too says mortgage and PMI. I think that's too high. Yeah, so I have $1,000 per month with PMI with property taxes of $2,400 a year, which I think that's probably a little bit high for how expensive her house is, and then home insurance too. So maybe they're including utilities and some other stuff, maintenance, but then also she gets paid $450 a month from her significant other. Then miscellaneous travel, donations, cat food. So she's donating and traveling about $6,000 a year. It's about 10% of the budget. That seems a little bit high to me, but you do what you can. You need to have some nice things. And then pension, she's paying in $400 a month to her pension. I'm kind of surprised at that too, just because usually pensions you don't have to put that much into unless they're considering a 401k a pension. Usually pensions, at least from everything that I've seen, you don't put money in it. And then utilities, $329. So I guess that was not included in housing. That seems pretty high to me too. $329 a month seems high. Transportation, $108. So gas, car insurance, okay, that's not too bad. Insurance on top of that, health, dental, vision, $85. That's not too bad. Subscriptions, $67, which is teachers union dues, Amazon Prime, Spotify, okay, that's not bad. Phone bill, $50. So my question is, where's the extra $450 going from where she gets, when she gets it from her significant other? Where is the $1,850 usually going? Because between those two, that's $2,300 a month. That's half of her budget. So half of her budget isn't really accounted for here. And there's no investments there. Okay, she usually saves $1,000 a month. Okay, I like this too. She has it broken down. So she has a emergency fund, it looks like, of about $10,000. She has retirement funds. I can't tell how old she is. Probably late 20s, I'd say. Maybe, yeah, probably late 20s. Working on the retirement fund, not a lot there yet, but she does have that pension too if she's a teacher. She does have some in Robinhood. I see that she has $2,200 now. For her, I would still focus on those tax advantaged accounts. So for her, I'd do a Roth IRA. She would have to pay taxes on it now, but her income is low enough that I don't think she'd be in that next tax bracket. I think she would be able to take advantage of the fact that she's in a pretty low tax bracket now, but she has a nice cash cushion. Now she just has to invest that other like $2,000 a month, it looks like. And her housing payment is pretty low, so that's good too. I think, and then they say $155,000 in assets. So yeah, I think she has a little bit more work to do, but not bad.
It's a little competition or a little.
Yeah, I don't think they included food on here either in that budget, but 400 to 500 for food.
Try to be under my budget. During the week, I meal prep, so Monday through Friday. It's just easier because as a teacher, I don't always come home at the same time every day, and so I don't usually want to come home and cook. So I just have it prepared on Sunday.
That is a significant amount of money, honestly, if she's meal prepping. I mean, usually meal prepping, you're buying in bulk. $400 to $500 a month is pretty high, I think, if you are meal prepping every week. But maybe she goes out to eat too.
She's been with my mom first for a while, but now that I've had her, we've taken a lot of road trips back to Chicago and just around the country.
That's awesome.
After graduating college, I had about $16,000 in student debt.
Okay, so she's not late 20s. Looks like she is 25. That's awesome. She got to pay off those student loans and she was able to do that, and she tried to do that. I'm not trying to say that like she just got to do that. She put in the effort and was able to pay those off. I still have student loans now. Part of that, the reason for that is because I use them as a tax deduction. I'm going to be in a pretty high tax bracket next year, so I can use the interest as a tax deduction, and I have it at a pretty low interest rate too. So anyways, that is something that's, really good to be able to get that done with early on.
Hi, welcome to my classroom. I'm Miss Huang. I'm going to give you guys a quick tour. So this is what it looks like from the student perspective. They have to sit behind their plexiglass with their masks on.
What?
It's definitely an interesting struggle because with Zoom, behavior management is, seemingly easier. If there's like a student who's being disruptive or distracting, you can put them on mute or you can kick them out of the classroom. But when you're trying to teach and then there's an in-person situation that you need to take care of, it kind of is like you have to switch brains.
It's a little early, but I had some of my kids who did well on their quiz on Friday help set up our class Christmas tree.
So if you're in Michigan, we don't have anything like that plexiglass in schools. I mean, we have that at businesses, but we have nothing like that at schools. We just have the masks.
I was excited to get back into the classroom because I knew that that's where I could really be in my element and decorate my classroom. It makes it feel a little bit more normal to be able to play with kids, even with the social distancing guidelines of having to be 6 feet apart, having to wear a mask, having to sit behind a plexiglass. I would say I'm a good saver, or I would like to think I'm a good saver when I can be, but in terms of investing, I'm still new at that, and so good with money I feel like is relative. Am I comfortable with where I am right now? If an emergency were to happen, would I be okay? I think I would say yes, but I think that if I upward compare, there's people doing way better and maybe have more knowledge about financial literacy than I do. But with the knowledge that I do have, I find it important with my role as a teacher, a math teacher, teaching low income or high risk students. I do feel like it's my responsibility to share the knowledge that I have learned. Since I've increased my salary. I don't think I'm as nitpicky about cutting costs, and I finally feel at the point where I don't have to be so conscious and obsessed with like my finances the way that I used to feel, especially since buying my house. I think that was like a really big goal for me, and so I really wanted to make sure that I could do that. And now that I have that, I think that, I want to enjoy the moment.
So I've had that too a little bit. I increased my income a lot just over the last 3 or 4 months through YouTube. And I noticed the same thing. I'm trying not to let it take effect too much because mine was diluted a lot. I mean, I make so much more than I did 6 months ago that it's hard to keep it all in perspective. So I get what she's saying. It is important, though, to continue to invest. So maybe you say, okay, I'm okay with a little bit of lifestyle inflation. I'm okay with spending another 1 or 2% a month, but you don't want to take all that money that you're making now, all that extra money, and then just use it for whatever you want. So I think it's important to not let it jade you too much or let it change you too much. You got to keep everything in perspective and try to stay around the same amount of expenses.
As much as I'm a high achieving person, I also realize that there has to be a balance between enjoying what I have, because if you're always looking towards the next thing, you're never going to feel like you have enough.
So I'd agree with that a little bit. I think it is hard to keep everything in perspective, especially when you do get salary hikes and when you start becoming successful financially. It's hard to remember where you've been and to be happy instead of just looking forward. But I think you got to keep on pushing forward. I mean, that's what the human race is built on, right? You got to continue to improve and continue to get better. At least that's my own thought on it. So let me know if you guys like this down below. I think she's doing a good job. I think that as she goes on and as she's not paying for like a down payment, that was probably, again, like 15 grand. As she doesn't have $2,000 expenses. Seems like she's pretty new out of school, maybe 2 or 3 years out. She also paid off her student loans. I think that $2,000 a month can go towards investments, and that will be major. That will be huge to be able to invest another $2,000 a month. That will send her above so many other people. So just keep it up, set up that Roth IRA, and keep on putting in money. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Again, if you want to start investing, you can check out the link down below to WeBull. If you want to know exactly what I'm buying and where I'm selling, you can check out the link down below to Patreon. And last thing, I did start a new affiliate relationship with a company called BlockFi. I really like the company. I just sent over my first deposit. They have something called an interest account where you can get interest on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So I did a more full review, I should say, on them just yesterday. So I'll link to it on the end screen here, but I'll do a full review on my main channel soon. But if you do want to sign up for it, there's a link down in the description below too. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in this video. Bye.